Hey, history fans! Welcome to Curious Medial. Today, we'll be exploring some of the most unusual historical fashion trends that we look back on today and wonder, what were they thinking? From head-to-toe fur to clown-like makeup, we'll be taking a look at some of the most bizarre fashion trends of the past. But before we get started with our today's list, make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting content. So grab your popcorn and let's dive into the top 7 historical fashion trends that seem weird to us today. Number 7. Corsets. The corset was seen as a symbol of female beauty and power, and its shape was seen as a reflection of the idealized female body. Women from the 17th century to the early 20th century used corsets to create a fashionable silhouette, and they were also used to help create an hourglass figure. While many women found corsets to be uncomfortable, they were willing to endure them to fit into societal standards of beauty. Today, corsets have made a comeback in modern fashion, with designers such as Jean-Paul Gaultier and Alexander McQueen creating corset-inspired pieces. While the traditional corset was meant to constrict, today's corsets are often worn as a fashion statement. Number 6. Chopines. In today's world, Chopines are considered an odd fashion trend that we'd never even consider trying. However, this trend once graced the feet of some of the most powerful and elite women of the time. These towering shoes were a must-have for any woman who wanted to showcase her wealth and social standing. The height of the Chopines vary from a few inches to almost a foot, making them a truly unique fashion statement. Although these shoes may seem strange to us today, they were a symbol of power and luxury back in the 16th century. Number 5. Macaroni. Talking about macaroni, the first thing that pops into our heads is a plate full of cheesy, creamy macaroni pasta. But did you know that back in the 17th century, the term macaroni was used to refer to one of the most aristocratic fashion trends of all time? In fact, the style too was named after the Italian dish, trying to symbolize the style with the same amount of sophistication and elegance the dish holds. In this trend, the Britishers would wear wigs accompanied by feathers or a small hat at the top. Though in today's world, such style would be considered extremely odd. This style once lived in the world of fashion and was considered as power and luxury, which made its way down till quite some decades. Number 4. Bustles. Whether you find them amusing or absurd, bustles were a defining trend of Victorian fashion. They were a statement piece that reflected the era's rigid class structures and its obsession with propriety and modesty. But despite their popularity among the upper classes, the bustle became a joke among the masses. Today, the bustle has been reborn as a modern fashion trend. This time, however, it's been reimagined with a contemporary twist. Designers are using bold colors, unexpected textures, and modern silhouettes to make the bustle a more wearable trend. From red carpet events to everyday wear, the bustle is becoming a staple in the fashion world. So why not join the bustle trend? Let your inner Victorian come out with a modern twist. Number 3. Bombasts. Bombasts. It's like fashion from the past had a weird sense of humor. That's right. Bombasts were a fashion trend from the 16th century that saw men wearing large puffy sleeves that were stuffed with wool or other materials. Talk about an interesting look. If you're wondering why anyone would ever wear such an outrageous ensemble, it was actually a status symbol. In the 16th century, the bigger your sleeves were, the wealthier you were perceived to be. Who knew fashion trends were so closely linked to status back then? However, contrary to today's world fashion sense, where the phrase more is less tops the list, this fashion trend would not even top the list from last. Number 2. Lotus Shoes. Have you ever heard of Lotus Shoes? These were a peculiar fashion trend in ancient China, where the soles of shoes were made to be extremely long and curled up to resemble a lotus flower. Talk about a balloon fashion statement. These shoes were incredibly impractical and were made to be worn by young daughters of the families to restrict the growth of the feet. The concept of small feet meant that the smaller the feet, the more the beauty and femininity standards of the girl. Thanks to the 1912's law, which banned the practice of making small girls wear such shoes to refrain their feet from growing. However, in some areas, the practice of binding the feet of the girls is still practiced secretly. Number 1. Breast flatteners. If you thought the idea of flattening your breasts was weird, don't worry. You weren't the only one. In the 20s, women had mixed feelings about flattening their chests. Some thought it was liberating to be free of curves, while others thought it was uncomfortable and unnatural. But no matter what they thought, It was the look that was in fashion, and many women had to comply. In the end, the flattening of women's breasts was just another one of the weird, wild, and wonderful fashion fads of the Roaring '20s, which in today's time is safe to label as extinct. While we may not be rocking any of these looks anytime soon, it's always fun to take a look back at the past to appreciate the fashion trends of our ancestors. Comment down below which of these historical fashion trends you found to be the weirdest of all times, and we'll meet you soon in our next video. Bye.